These are our band rotations. As we go through this, and we're going to look at 3 different variations, 3 different progressions, but what we're doing is rotating the torso and the arms without rotating the hips. So this is a true rotation exercise. We don't need to go especially heavy with it. We need to go heavy enough that it's interesting that we feel some effort. But if you go as heavy as you possibly can, the likelihood of the right muscles doing the job goes pretty low. So what I'm gonna have Janelle do is bring the band, clasped in both hands, out in front. She's positioned herself far enough away from our stable anchor that she isn't gonna, that she's gonna have to do some work. And then she's gonna press the band straight out. And there's one more piece, and so this is the base for all of our progressions, but progression number 1 is gonna be into our power position. So Janelle's gonna have a little bit of a bend in knees, a little bit of a bend in her hips. Her torso is leaning forward, probably at about 15 degrees, it's pretty small. And Janelle's gonna now go into some rotations. She'll rotate out to about 30 degrees and then inwards to about 30 degrees. And as she goes, what we wanna see is that her pelvis, her hips, her low back are all fairly stable, they're not rotating. But if there was a spotlight attached to her breastbone, we would actually see that spotlight turning left and right. So this is progression number 1, our torso rotations in our power position. So now we're gonna look at version number 2 of this. So Janelle's gonna keep that band clasped. I'll have you bring your feet a little bit closer together. And we're gonna step the outside foot back into a lunge position. And then I'll have Janelle bring herself a little bit lower, bending that right knee towards the ground. Great. And this back knee is floating, and now we're gonna go straight arms and into those same 30-degree rotations in and out. And you guys can probably see this. We've made it notably harder for Janelle to stay stable. When she was in the power position, the hips were really quiet. Now there's a little bit of a knee movement going on here. This isn't excessive, this is not a problem, but our goal is to make the lower body really, really quiet with a degree of challenge. And then Janelle, go ahead and come back up to standing. And our final progression is gonna also be a split stance, but it's gonna be the opposite version. So band comes together at the chest. You might actually take a half step in, lower your resistance by just a smidge. Your left foot is gonna go back. So here the inside leg goes back. And this, for most of us, will make things more challenging. Janelle will bring that knee down close to a 90-degree bend and go to her rotations. And again, if you rotate 20 degrees with control, great. If you can rotate 40 degrees with control, that's great. Don't worry too much about how far you go. Instead, get interested in how quiet you can make the body, right? And we've got some movement in her knee, in her foot, her body, her lower body is trying to respond to the forces of the upper body. But these look really good. Thanks, Janelle. And those are our band rotations with 3 different progressions: power position, split squat stance with the inside leg forward, and then split squat stance with the inside leg backwards.